all you ghoulish gourmets, and welcome to another Movie Munchies. Today, hey, Blissful. Today, well, I've got that stupid little wireless thing up there again, and I thought I had this issue fixed. Um, well, this one might be cruddy too. I don't know what's what's going on with the wireless, but um, give me just 1 second. I'm going to take myself out of here and I'm going to check and see if that switched back to the other wireless. All right, gang. Before I do one of these again, it switched back to the other Wi-Fi connection instead of our Wi-Fi extender. So hopefully everything will be better now. Um, Hopefully that little thing won't pop up again. So we are going to be making Southern Comfort fried chicken today. Now, I said with butter dip biscuits. However, to save time and to save you guys having to watch me make a bunch of stuff, I have already prepared the butter dip biscuits. Um, Let me bring up the haunted food cam here so that I can show you what these butter dip biscuits. They're also called butter swim biscuits. I had never actually heard of these before. So just wanted to show you what those look like. I did eat one while they were hot earlier, and they were pretty tasty. So I'm going to tell you briefly how to make them, and you may be thinking, "Well, Dana, I know how to make biscuits. I've made biscuits over and over again." Well, so have I, but never made biscuits like these. These are butter dip buttermilk biscuits, also called butter swim biscuits. They're supposed to be the easiest homemade biscuits. You don't have to use a biscuit cutter or anything like that, which they were pretty quick and easy. They take maybe a total of 35 minutes to make, and that includes the cooking time. Now, they say uh, 25 to 30 minutes baking in my oven, and I know all ovens are different. I cooked mine for about 25 minutes, and they were just perfect. Not doughy in the middle or anything like that. So, what do you need to make the butter dip biscuits? You need a half cup of salted butter. You're going to be melting that butter in the microwave. 2.5 cups of all purpose flour, 1.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and I use sweetener. I use the Splenda sugar blend. Normally, I don't put sugar or sweetener in my biscuits, but I think it gave it a good flavor this time. A tablespoon of aluminum free baking powder. Now, I honestly can't tell you how to find aluminum free baking powder. So I just used the baking powder I had around the house, which is just a Kroger brand baking powder. Hopefully, it was aluminum free. I don't know. I guess you can theoretically you can look up how to find aluminum free baking powder or a list of those types that are aluminum free. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a 1 3/4 cup buttermilk. And it says you may need up to 2 cups. Now, if you mix the 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk up in your flour mixture and it's still dry, and mine was a little bit dry, I mixed a little bit more of the buttermilk in there. And so I had used 2 cups of this size buttermilk already in the chicken to let it marinate overnight. Okay. So then I poured 1 3/4 cup out of here, and then I used the remainder. So if you get a bottle this size of buttermilk, this is a quart size bottle of buttermilk. I actually bought too much because I thought I was going to need some more. If you get a quart size and you're making this chicken, plus you want to make the butter dip biscuits, then 1 container should do you. Um, good tip, Blissful. You say I found aluminum free at the health food store I get my flowers from. And that may be the case that you have to do that. So, but my biscuits didn't turn out bad, but I guess if you want them to be a little more healthy, then you might want to visit your local health food store and pick up some aluminum free baking powder. Okay. So then you're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees and you're going to spray a glass or ceramic oven safe 8 by 8 inch or 9 by 9 inch baking dish. Mine was an 8 by 8 and it worked out just perfect with non-stick cooking spray. And I did not know that there was non-stick cooking spray with flour in it. However, the person that did this recipe said that they liked the kind with flour in it. I did not have that, so I just used my rich butter taste Pam cooking spray. But you can use whatever that you like. Okay. Um, so in a microwave safe bowl, melt a half cup of salted butter. Make sure you get salted butter. Normally I get unsalted butter, but in the case of this recipe, it said salted, so I got some salted butter. You pour the melted butter into your baking dish. Then in a medium bowl, you're going to mix together your 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of aluminum-free baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Then you're going to pour in your 1 3/4 cup buttermilk, stir until a sticky batter forms. If the batter still seems too dry, you can add a little more buttermilk until the batter is thick and sticky. Then you're going to pour your biscuit dough. I couldn't really pour mine because it was so thick. So I had to spoon it out in clumps and put it in the baking dish on top of that melted butter. Some of the butter will run over the top of the dough. And I did follow the person that did this recipe. I followed their tip. They sprayed their hand with nonstick cooking spray to help spread the dough out evenly in the pan. Then you're going to pre-cut the dough into 9 squares as best you can. This will help with cutting later when the biscuits are baked. And then you're going to bake it on the middle oven rack for about 25 to 30 minutes, rotating the dish once during baking. I never really understand that. I assume it's to make sure that everything cooks evenly. But again, oven times do vary since different ovens have different hot spots. But basically, the biscuit should be golden brown on top and spring back to the touch. If you insert a toothpick into the center, if it comes out clean and no batter on it, then you're good to go on the biscuits. And again, here are the biscuits in case anybody wanted to check those out. And with this fried chicken, you can also have mashed potatoes and you can have peas. I mean, macaroni and cheese. You could have corn. There's a lot of different things that you could have with this meal. That's what I like about fried chicken. It's pretty versatile. Okay, so what I did with this chicken last night, so it would. Thank you, Blissful. You said they turned out beautiful. What I did with this chicken to prepare it, because they said it was best to let it marinate in the buttermilk and the spices overnight before you fried it up. So I prepared this last night. So you want to have one whole chicken cut up, or 8 pieces of your favorite cuts of chicken. What I did was I did 4 drumsticks and 4 thighs to make up my 8 pieces of chicken. You need 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, or in my case, I just went on use sea salt. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. I used the hot sauce that I had in my refrigerator, which just happened to be the same kind of hot sauce that the person that did this recipe used. And that is, I believe it's called Frank's hot sauce. But you use whatever hot sauce that you would like. Um, you also need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a cup of cornstarch, 2 more teaspoons of kosher salt, and this is going to be for the breading for the chicken. 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of black pepper. You're going to need some peanut oil for frying, and this is my organic peanut oil I got to use it at another time, and I'm using most of the rest of it to fry this chicken, which I have been preheating my cast iron skillet over here on the stove to get prepare it to fry this chicken. Okay, and you can have some flake salt before you serve the chicken. Just sprinkle that flake salt on there. Okay, okay. So you're going to place your chicken pieces in a large bowl, and you can see my large bowl right here with the chicken in it. Sprinkle on top of the chicken 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And then you're going to toss it a little bit to not literally toss it up in the air, but you know what I mean. Turn it over in the bowl and get that stuff all over the chicken. Okay. Then you're going to add 2 cups of buttermilk and 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. Stir until everything is combined. Cover it with plastic wrap and let it marinate in the fridge for at least 2 hours if you're pressed for time. But it is best if you can let it sit overnight. Okay. So I have already in a medium bowl, you can see my breading mixture here. And to make that, you in a medium-sized bowl, you put 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a cup of cornstarch. Remember, you're going to be using a whole cup of cornstarch. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of paprika, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper. And then you're going to set that aside, just like I did. Then you're going to fill up either a deep fryer or a deep cast iron skillet or Dutch oven with peanut oil or neutral frying oil of your choice and preheat it to 350 degrees. Now, I've been letting mine preheat over here, so it's pretty hot. It should be ready. I actually turned down the heat a little bit. I had it on medium. I turned it down just slightly before I put this chicken in here. So we're going to take our chicken pieces one at a time, and we're going to let the excess buttermilk drip off. And then we're going to coat in the flour mixture. We're going to make sure the chicken is well coated. Uh, Shake off any excess, and then we're going to set the chicken aside and let it sit for a few minutes until the coating starts to look a little pasty. So, what I'm going to do over here, and I'm going to make the haunted food cam the solo layout so you can see this. So I'm just going to take my first, drumstick here. These are pretty good sized drumsticks. I was happy with this. We're going to let some of that extra buttermilk mixture drip off. And then we're just gonna try to get. Now this is a messy job sometimes, folks. I'm gonna let some of the extra. Just trying to make sure I get that covered. And I always have a very hard time getting my breading to stay on at times, but we can hope for the best here. I know breading things is a messy job, folks. So make a little bit of mess, never fear. We're just breading these the best we can here. Trying to make sure you get that flour mixture on every square inch of the wet spots there. I'm not perfect, but I try the best I can here. And what I'm going to do to kind of save time, and so you guys aren't having to, be on here with me for an extremely long amount of time. I'm going to do 4 pieces of chicken on camera, and then the rest of it I will fry up um, when I'm off camera to finish it up. Because I don't think y'all need to watch me fry every piece of this chicken. Okay. So I'm going to try before I start frying this chicken. I'm going to try to wipe my hands off a little bit here. Bear with me a second, folks. So you don't want to put more than 3 or 4 pieces in your. You don't want to put more than 3 or 4 pieces in your skillet or deep fryer at one time. And I'm also going to get my tongs out because I'm going to be turning this chicken so it doesn't burn. So these are my handy silicone uh, tongs. And so I was going to try to see. Yeah, I don't think y'all are going to be able to see it. Okay. So you may be able to hear it frying. But unfortunately, I don't have another camera right now to be over in this area. But you probably can hear it sizzling. I'm going to turn it down just slightly. So, and I'm going to remove the haunted food cam temporarily because y'all don't need to see that kind of sticky mess there. So, I've carefully added each piece of chicken to my skillet. Um, Again, don't add more than 3 or 4 pieces at a time. You'll need to fry it in batches so you don't overcrowd the fryer or the skillet. Fry until golden brown, turning every few minutes. So your chicken is done when it's golden brown and the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees. I don't know too many people that check the temperature, but if you want to, you can. Depending on the size of the chicken, dark meat can take about 12 to 14 minutes. White meat only takes 8 to 10 minutes. Now, these are estimates, so if you want to use a meat thermometer, you can do that for accurate doneness. So then, when our chicken is done frying here in a little bit, we're going to place it on a paper towel lined sheet tray or a plate, whatever you want to do. And then you can sprinkle a little flake salt on top at that time. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to wipe this plate off. Then I'm going to line it with some paper towels. And I am going to take the camera over and let you see that chicken. I hope this doesn't make anybody dizzy, so that you can specifically say that you saw the chicken. All right. So, so I'm going to be back and forth between the camera and the skillet. She's cooking my chicken here. And I'm also, because you guys all know how addicted to caffeine I am. I don't know if Steve is watching me. Is it clear, Steve? Okay. I depend on Steve to be the person that, monitors my internet connection and see if the stuff is not breaking up. And what do you mean this part where you completely fail, Blissful? I think everybody has failed at cooking chicken at least once. I've done it more than once. I've I probably shouldn't be saying this on my little cooking show, but I have served Steve some chicken that's been raw in the middle. So even my mom, who's been cooking a lot longer than I have, um, has done that. So I'm gonna let this chicken cook for a couple of minutes more, and then I'm gonna flip each piece over with the tongs. Um, well, I think sometimes the key, Blissful, if you're frying chicken, is just to keep an eye on your temperature. If it starts sizzling a little bit too much. Now, the chicken that I didn't get done in the middle was baked chicken. I have a little trouble in that department sometimes. Usually, if you're frying chicken, the oil gets really hot. So that's the main thing. You got to keep a good eye on it. I would say if you're frying chicken, don't go off too far and do anything else because chances are you will forget about it. I've done that with pots of, chili that I've been doing, and then I came back and my chili was sticking on the bottom of the pan. So, um, depending on what you're cooking, there's some things that you just can't multitask with. So I'm keeping temperature about medium, and then if it seems like it's cooking too fast or sizzling too much, then I will turn it back down uh, between medium and a 4 on my burner. So I'm going to flip these over. And let them cook a few minutes on the other side. I'm really pleased though that the breading seems to be staying on these pieces of chicken, which just for reference for you folks, I'm going to try not to turn this off, but there is the chicken after I've turned it over once. It's not completely done yet though, folks, but just wanted to let you see that. And you will notice some blood was running out of that one side. We're going to make sure that that stops before we consider this stuff done, right? So, in any event, while this is cooking, I hope that everybody has had a nice Sunday, a relaxing Sunday. Hopefully, before we start the beginning of the work week. Um, and just to remind you guys and gals that I will be doing a Southern Comfort watch along tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for those of you that want to join in with that. I'll be glad to have you either in the chat if you want to come on live on the stream with me. You're welcome to do that as well. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to let this chicken cook um, on this other side for a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'm going to try flipping it over again. So we don't want to keep it on. That's one thing too. You don't want it cooking too fast, and you don't want to keep it on one side. I'd say no more than 4 minutes at a time. Yes, Blissful Steve is indeed Ninja Steve as well. He scared me to death the other night. He came. I was back on the computer, and he came in there and was. I don't know how he manages to be that quiet. You do it on purpose, Steve. He's shaking his head and says he don't do it on purpose, but he's the most silent person. Then I just hear this disembodied voice coming out of the shadows, and it scares me to death. Uh, so I'm going to let this cook on this side for about another minute, and then uh, we're going to flip it over again because we still got some blood running out on the first side, so we want to make sure that we don't have any blood running out there when we get finished with this chicken. Because chicken's one of those things that can make you very sick if you don't cook it well. Cook it all the way through. Little safety, food safety lesson for you. Can everybody hear it sizzling that's watching along today? I can smell it. So, we don't have a smell-o-vision or whatever, but it does smell pretty good. I'm hoping this is the best fried chicken I made. I haven't made fried chicken in a while. You can hear it sizzling. I guess some other people are watching, but they're not chatting. So, but I'm glad to have Blissful here. Um, So at least I have somebody to talk to as I'm doing this. So we're going to flip this over again. And it's getting nice and golden brown. That's a good thing. We'll let it cook for 4 more minutes on that side. We want to make sure we get this good and done. And also, like I said, no blood is coming out of our meat. Chicken smells good, Steve. Can you smell it? I like speaking of stuff smelling good, I really like the variety of seasonings that was used in this recipe. I love using paprika. Um, I love using, garlic powder and onion powder and all that stuff. I don't know what happened to season there. And when I'm completely done with this, like I said, I'm only cooking 4 pieces for you guys, so you don't have to watch me cook 8 pieces of chicken. It's probably like enough already, Dana. You cook 4 dang pieces. We get the idea. Um, but like I said, I think this was a really good seasoning combination. So Blissful, to make you feel a little bit better about this, and maybe you'll feel more comfortable frying some chicken in the future. Me keeping this at about medium, and if it gets a little too frisky, I'm turning it down just slightly from the medium, more towards the 4 setting on my burner. I am using one of the large burners too. I can't remember, Blissful. Do you use electric or do you have gas? Because I've never cooked on gas unless you count, the grill outside that uses propane. Uh, okay, put this over again. Bear with me, folks. So I think after it cooks for 4 more minutes, I think we're going to be good on this because I'm not seeing any more blood running out of our chicken, which is a good sign. Well, maybe just a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on this because we just want to make sure. And I can't help myself. I'm a habitual crust eater. If any crust falls off, I'm going to eat. You cook with a gas stove. See, that might be part of the thing with me. I don't know that I could cook on a gas stove. I pretty much cooked on an electric stove all my life. So in about a minute, I'm going to flip these over one more time and just make sure that it cooks good on that one side, really, really good before we take this out of the skillet and put it on the plate. Do you have a deep fryer? Okay, well, I would say you could get about the same result if you heated your deep fryer, preheat it to 350 degrees, then put your chicken in. But like I said, don't put more than 3 or 4 pieces in there at a time. All right, so we're going to flip this again. I'm going to turn down my heat just a tad here. Because you may hear the oil, it's getting a little bit crispy again. And at 342, we're going to take this off here. So I guess I could ask while we're finishing this up, what's everybody's favorite thing, favorite sides to have with fried chicken? I mean, do you like mashed potatoes? Do you like macaroni and cheese? Do you like cheese? Do you like okra? Spinach? Steve says corn. Steve specifically likes fried corn, though. And I've cooked fried corn. It's kind of a recipe I come up with myself after looking at several recipes for fried corn, and I've been using the same recipe for fried corn. Maybe sometime on one of these I'll actually cook some fried corn, and then you'll see Steve come sniffing around because he'll want to eat some of it. So we got a couple more minutes before we're ready to take these out. Now, keep in mind too, if you're cooking leg quarters or something in here, it's going to take a little bit longer than thighs and drumsticks for sure. Leg quarters are what I have the most trouble with as far as baking. Hey, Alan. You say Dana getting it done. Southern Comfort Chef and Haunted Food Cam cinematographer. Yeah, I guess so, in a way. We're just about done here, folks. A few more seconds to cook this. All right. We're going to turn this burner off. I want to try attempt to get this chicken out here without having my breading fall off. I'm going to let it drain here. Okay. So, move, move that over. And I'm going to take this fried chicken over. I'm going to add the haunted food cam there. And make it the solo layout. Now you can see that a little piece of my breading came off here, but you can also see that the chicken appears to be done. It's not bleeding anymore. It's not burned. You can see where it got a little dark right there in the breading. And sorry if y'all heard that. Steve's watching something in there. But that's when I knew, oh, hey, Dana, you need to turn the heat down just a little bit. So that is Southern Comfort fried chicken. And I'll show these butter dip biscuits again that I'm going to have with my chicken. Here, once it drains and cools off a little bit, because I really don't want to burn my hands or the inside of my mouth. That's not, uh, that shouldn't be on the menu today. So, but y'all get a good gander at the chicken. I'm going to remove it. Oops, remove it from the solo layout, but I'll leave it up there for you guys and gals. But that's basically it for today. About a 45-minute long cooking show today for Movie Munchies. I hope that you guys and gals have enjoyed this. I hope it encourages you to make some fried chicken for yourself. This Casey, if you want to try out the recipes that I actually did on here today, these are the countrycook.net. So if you go to www.thecountrycook.net, Brandy at Country Cook did these two recipes, the butter dip biscuits and the best southern fried chicken. And she even has a video on there for the fried chicken, I know. Um, Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, Dana, great, yummy live. So, on that note, I am going to get out of here for now, but I will return at 7 p.m. Eastern Time today with the Southern Comfort watch along. So, if you are so inclined, be sure to join in for that. And I have most everything up on my channel, Deadites on Deck, um, for you to see what's coming up, all except Friday Foolish, because I'm trying to uh, coordinate with Candace first before we decide on a topic and actually put a thumbnail up. But everything else should be up there in case you're curious about what I'm going to be doing the coming week. So I'm off like a dirty shirt. No, that's kind of gross to be saying when you're doing the movie Munchies, but I like that line from Pretty in Pink from Ducky. And I also want to remind everybody to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and let's get ready for a wonderful week. Let's get all those things done this week that we've been wanting to do, and try to make it relatively stress free if you can, because man, there's enough stress going on. And I agree with Blissful. Have a beautiful day. And I'll see everybody next time. Take care, folks.